want like to make sure that at least everyone has a story and like they talk about it because it is something actually that we should always like be like very aware of. And yeah, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Simon Eboku. I am a teacher by profession. I am a parenting coach. I'm also a writer, an author, and I'm a pastor. I want to welcome you to this conversation on mental health and mental health awareness, especially among the young people in schools and in various institutions. Today, you can notice that there are so many issues that are cropping in among young people, and most of the thing is basically coming because of the poor mental health among the young people. But when we talk about mental health, most people, there's a perception to think that this is basically about madness. Somebody's sick mentally. But when we talk about mental health, all of us, every human being needs to be mentally healthy. We are looking at the psychological well-being, you're looking at the emotional well-being, and also you're looking at the social well-being. And today among the young people, especially among students, you realize there's a lot of issues socially, emotionally, and psychologically that has affected their lifestyle and their well-being. And so today we want to look at how is it important? What are the importance of mental health awareness in schools and generally among young people? You realize that we pay so much less attention about our mental health, even as adults, even as parents. Sometimes we pay less attention to this, but it's very important. Number one, for you to be mentally healthy or to have an awareness about your mental health, it eradicates the perception to think that, okay, maybe I am running mad. It eradicates that. Among young people, you also realize that it is important for them to be mentally, socially, and psychologically, emotionally healthy to basically improve their relationship with one another, to improve their relationship with their teachers, to improve how they relate with their environment. And let me tell you, a child that is not mentally healthy will not be able to cope up with their environment, the school environment. They will not be able to cope up with their social environment. Every time they see their fellows, they think, they're a problem to them. Every time they see a teacher enters class, they realize this is another problem that has come. Why? There is already something that is disturbing the child. And so when a child is mentally healthy, even their academic performance improves. How the way they relate with each other is actually improved. So it is important for the schools, for the institutions to create this awareness, to bring in activities, events that actually helps the mental health of every child.
Stress. It's one of the biggest battles in a young person's mind. Heavy, silent, but real. We asked them, what does stress feel like to you? And here is what they had to say.
Stress.
Yeah.
I would say goals. I would say goals in general because there's your personal goals, then there's your parents' goals for you, and then there are goals that you're supposed to achieve as a society, in your society. So, as a teenager, I personally have personal goals. Like, let's say I've told myself I have to finish this assignment before time. So teacher comes, gives you an assignment, the assignments pile up, and then you go home. Let's say you're at a scholar, you go home and they're telling you you have to finish the chores. You have 6 assignments pending, you have chores to do now, and let's say you have a younger sibling, so you also have to take care of your younger sibling. And then on top of that, at the end of the term, you're going to have to present a report card. So if you present a report card with low grades, one, you're going to feel bad about it as a person because you're putting all this work and you're getting no results. Your parents are also going to make you feel bad about it. Like, how are you like not studying? Are you chopping class? Are you not like, what's wrong? And they're asking you all these questions you don't have answers for. And then on top of that, your, let's say, aunt or your friend, a family friend, can be like, oh, my daughter got good grades, what about yours? So you're obviously going to feel bad about it. Like the comparison is like very bad. So you feel bad about when you're being compared, you feel like a failure. Your parents also making you feel like a failure. So everything is just not working out in your way. So you end up getting stressed. You're trying to like have a social life. You're having academic life. There's your life at home. So like you get stressed so easily.
Yeah.
It's a very big factor.
Yeah.
Having a social life is like everyone's goal. Like your epitome of the best social life is you have the popular friends, you are the popular child, you're the girl that they want to look at, or like you're the guy who has all the babes running for you and everything. So when you don't have that life, or like, let's say, because sports, you can be like, oh, I'm the smartest guy in school in my year, or I'm the best basketball player, I'm the best swimmer, kind of a thing. When you don't have those specific accolades on yourself, you tend to like shadow out in school, and that makes you feel bad as a person, like as a teenager. So it doesn't really help you when you're like, you're not the smartest, you don't swim, you're not the prettiest, like you don't have anything on you. So your social life makes you feel small, and then you go home and again it's the same thing at home. You don't really have many friends. You just tend to like put yourself in a small corner and just feel bad, which usually leads to depression.
Actually, I think Tuazona is doing my uni.
Yes.
So yeah, I was actually very stressed and anxious at the very time, like at the same time, because I never actually like, you know, like when you have that pressure of like, what will happen? Like, am I really going to pass? Like, you have very many things running like through your mind, and like, yeah. But hopefully, yeah, we did it, and yeah, we are through. Yeah. Actually, I think anxiety is like, okay, mostly it happens maybe like from post-trauma, like from something that has happened to you, and like maybe when you remember about it, like you get like now anxious. You know, like there are very many signs of a person who's anxious, like they're not settled, they'll start thinking and stuff. Yeah. So, and it can happen maybe like out of very many stuff, because yeah, even me, like sometimes I can be anxious, maybe like if I'm going to do a paper, you understand, and also like okay, I do sport, so like sometimes when like if you're going like for a big game, you can be anxious sometimes.
What sport do you do?
I do football. I play football. So like yeah, you can be anxious a lot. Even though sometimes I think, was it a spelling bee? Yeah, we're going for it, and like even the simple words, some people may even fail because like they're very scared and anxious.
Now, one of the things that has affected the mental health of young people is basically stress. I don't know with the generation now, the thing is about stress. Everybody's talking about, I am stressed. You meet a child, why have you not finished your assignment? I am stressed. You look at the behavior, the sleeping pattern of the child, and they will tell you basically, I am stressed. And stress is one of the causes of mental illnesses. And you realize there are so many things that causes stress in a child. One, my experience as a teacher, sometimes the academic pressure. When there is so much academic pressure, and again in Uganda, our curriculum demands so much, including the new curriculum that we have now. It is very good, but it demands so much on the child. It demands a lot. And most of us parents, we are still inclined to the former curriculum where the results are more important. And so we give targets. Some of these targets are realistic. And you realize the pressure to meet the academic target, the pressure to finalize with assignments causes stress. Of course, sometimes it's positive stress that actually lead them, to do the assignment, but there are others that just break down. Before you know it, a child is getting permission, I want to go home just to relax because this is too much. And that academic pressure and academic stress, brings in a lot of mental illnesses. Though it is positive and negative on the other side. But also among young people, I have noticed that sometimes young people want to fit in within their peer groups. And when they fail to fit in a certain group that they admire, a certain clique that they think it is cool, and then before you know it, stress has come in. And the child is so disturbed, even when they're in class, most especially if the group is within the class that they are in. And so you realize they feel isolated. They feel like, why am I not fitting in? Am I not good enough? Don't I look nice? Don't I look better? And before you know it, stress comes in. And so the pressure, the peer pressure, the desire, the demand to fit in a particular kind of group has also caused stress among children. But also I have noticed that the rate of single parenting is increasing in our society today among parents. Many parents, I don't know why, there's a lot of divorce, there's a lot of separation, and you realize sometimes we make such decisions, to part ways, but the child at the end of it all becomes the victim. And let me tell you, the Bible, God has never intended for a child to be raised by a single mother, by a single father. No. All of us, the father and the mother, contributes in raising a wholesome child. But of course there are circumstances that comes in and you realize you need to part ways. But before you part ways, take note about the child. In most cases the child is affected. I will tell you a story. One time I was teaching some school many years ago, and this girl comes in class, and the girl used to sit at the back, very quiet young girl, and her performance was equally not so good at all. And so everybody thought this is just a quiet, poor performer, and nobody, even the friends, used not to relate with her. Until one time I entered class, and I decided to have what I called, a group kind of counseling and talk. I kept on talking to them, and I gave them cheats, and I told them, write what is disturbing you down. And people kept on writing what is disturbing them. So, and I didn't tell them I told them don't write your name. So I go after the class and I sit down and I start reading cheat by cheat, and I kept on flipping cheats. I came across this cheat that made me nerve. And I read, and the kid is telling me my mom and dad separated and left us, 3 of us. And she is the elder one. She was in senior 3 then. And she says the father had promised to pick her from school. Whether it means to pick her from school or from where, but he must sleep with her. I read this shit, I was like, okay, what? This is a father who wants to sleep with her own daughter. And that's when I realized the kid was not actually just a poor performer, but there was an issue at home. Number one, the parents have separated. On top of that, now the father is abusing the young girl. And so I called her and I told her to explain to me, to narrate for me the entire story. I was so broken. I was a young teacher then. I didn't know what to do. I told her, okay, can I call the mother? I was like, no, mom is very short-tempered. Don't call mom. So I told her, okay, now can we go and talk to the headmistress? Maybe this can solve. She accepted. I went and I talked to the headmistress about it. And to cut the long story short, we had to call the mom, prepared her, and then we had to go to authorities, and the father was arrested. The girl, the next time when she came, she was among the top children. She was so happy. Now, you realize this child, number one, was stressed because of what was happening at home. Number two, her academic performance actually deteriorated completely. Number three, socially, people didn't want to associate with her because she was too quiet, she was a poor performer, and she was basically so passive. But there was an issue. And that takes me to one of the things that as the school teachers and parents, we need to see some of these signs in our children and talk to them. When you notice something is not right, something is fishy about your child, maybe the sleeping patterns, maybe the eating habits, maybe the child is no longer participating in the activities that he used to participate, maybe the hobbies, she's no longer interested in some of the things, there should be a problem. Then we need to reach out. Young people these days, their language is, I am depressed, I am stressed, I don't want, the child gets into her room and, does not want to come out. There is a problem that you need to look at. The mental health of a child is very, very important.
Let's also hear from Mehdi and myself what we had to say about stress.
Life itself, the mere fact that you are alive, stress is going to come to you at any one point, okay? Because as human beings, we all have three factors that run our livelihood. That is the desire for control, pleasure, and power. Okay? So if there's anything that interferes with those three factors, you're obviously going to be stressed. You understand what I'm saying? By pleasure, what I mean, I'll use this example. You see a beautiful girl, huh? And you wish that she could be yours. Okay? You understand? You want to have her as your special friend. So if you go to her and put out your manifest and she says no, that is going to cause you what? Stress. Okay? You may desire to dance, go out and dance, okay? But then the school has its rules. You can't go out, okay? So that pleasure is denied, okay? And you're going to end up what? Stressed. Control. You'd wish to control certain things around you. For example, you want to control the time you go to class, okay? So if school dictates that at this time you're supposed to be in class, it's going to stress you out, isn't it? That is control. And then power. There are certain things you want to have power over. For example, like when school starts, everyone would wish to decide when school starts and when it opens, isn't it? But you don't have that power to do it. Okay? So the fact that you're told when school starts, when school closes, it's also going to stress you out. So we all agree, everyone has been stressed before, isn't it?
This is very serious, actually. Didn't talk about the complications. Do you know that chronic stress can lead to Alzheimer's? Have you heard of Alzheimer's? People forgetting in their old age. Have you heard of it? Now, you guys at your age here, you may not be with, you may not get Alzheimer's, but you start forgetting. You have a foggy mind. You try to read, but you forget. Has that ever happened to anyone? Yes, it's caused by stress. And you know another most dangerous thing about stress? It makes your mind smaller. Your brain shrinks. Did you know that? So it's really serious. Chronic stress is serious. There's this having of like stress whereby, today I'm stressed, I have exams. That is okay. But when you have chronic stress whereby it's not going anywhere, that's where now we have anxiety, depression. You get serious complications because of stress. Chronic stress. Okay? So I need you guys to really pay attention. I want to do a very small illustration. Then I hope you would have understood what stress is. Okay? So guys, please, if you have someone who is very strong, come out. Someone who is really strong, you have the power. So these bags represent books, right? The books you have to read. You guys have chemistry, biology, what else? Geography, what else? Swahili, mention them. How many subjects do you have? Art. He's also going to carry a book. The book is going to represent assignments. So I need more books. The guy is heavy. He's here. Yes. Come, please don't throw anything. Please don't throw anything. Eh? Carry everything you can handle, right? Wait. No. Please come. You see? That's pressure. You have friends. This can represent home. Your parents. Why aren't you performing well? What is happening? You're a poor performer. Why aren't you doing enough? Why aren't you this? You get? They're also putting pressure on you. So what's going to happen? You're going to throw everything down. Like what he did before. Oh, they're even down already. Get? So this is what is going to happen to you. Okay? That's what? Pressure, stress. So what happens? You get a lot of stress. You have to have friends, peer pressure. I must hang out. I must go to parties. I must have friends. I must do assignments. I must read. You no longer sleep. You do this, you do that. That's all what? Pressure. I hope you have understood what it is, right?
Now I want to tell you about the solutions, because we all know stress happens. But now we need to find the solutions. Number one, I don't know whether you're writing. Some of you who are writing. Number one, physical exercise. Did you know that physical exercise helps relieve stress? You play. You go out jogging. It can be jogging. It can be a sport. Play football. For those that are interested in football, netball, you do something, physical exercise that can help you. It refreshes the mind. Okay? And it blows off that steam. Number two, we have the what? You talk to friends. Some problems we have, if you share them with friends, you may find out that they're actually not as big as we thought. So you share those problems. You talk to friends. Sometimes you go and visit a friend and you have conversations that are completely not related to the problem you're having. And before you know it, your mind forgets it. And it relieves the stress. Okay? And then we have the parents themselves. And the parents, you can also include it in the what? In the friends. It's more or less the same. You talk to your parents. Okay? Yes, they can listen. And at times they've been where we are. So they can provide what? The solutions to some of these things. A fourth thing. Do you know positive imagination? You know what positive imagination is? You lie down there on your bed, or you can sit in class, then you imagine the positive things, positive outcomes, okay? Of whatever is stressing you. You think of the positive, okay?
We go. 1, 2, 3, we go. Raise your voice and shout, come on.